Good evening, everybody. Thought I'd do a bit of an update on our slow stitch collaboration that we're doing at the moment. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I've spent most of the day tidying my indoor studio ready for winter. So I've got a nice clean space ready to start stitching. The hubby's gone off to the pub, so I just thought I should put a bit more light down there. There we go. That I would just do a little bit of an update of where I'm up to with the slow stitch pieces that we're doing, and get ready for the next one. I wasn't going to start them all until October, but once I'd finished the book, I just wanted to crack on with something else just to sit and do on an evening. So this just came around perfectly. So it's Susanna, a Vintage Blend Studio, that set it all up. And the idea is there are 6 of us. So there is Rachel from Roxy Creations, Sarah from Roxy Creations by Sarah, Jeanette from My Cottage Crafts, there's me, there's Lauretta from Sparrowhawk Designs, Melanie and Susanna. And the idea is we've been given a schedule and we have to do a piece a month, and we've all chosen our colours, and then everybody's working in their own way. So I've used my slow stitch and a lot of techniques that I've done so far in the pieces that I've done for the strip and for the book. Just using lots of different bits. It's been quite interesting because it seems that everybody likes pink. So I'm having to use quite a bit of pink at the moment, which isn't my normal colour. If you want to follow what everybody's doing, if you have a look at their YouTube channels, and I'll put a link on after this video, or if you look at my previous one, there's links on there. And there's the hashtag Slow Stitch Collab 7 on Instagram, which means you can follow what we're all doing. So these are the 2 bits that I've done so far. So my first one was October with Susanna. So this is the one that I've done for Susanna. So she's getting a bit of a peek. These are getting ready. I'm going to be posting these this week. And she'd chosen vintage colours in pink, teal, cream, beige, light brown with lace and vintage fabrics. So I really like doing that. Use a couple of my vintage Suffolk puffs and lots of stitches in there, vintage buttons, all sorts. So I'm basing it on the back of some quilt pieces that I got, some vintage quilt pieces that are just really, really pretty. So the piece starts off 9" by 7" and then we have to work 8 by 6. And then when we've received all our pieces, it's up to you then what you do with them, whether you make them into a book or a big quilt or something like that. So that's the first one that I've done. And the second one was for Melanie, and she went for bright pink and bright green, which really are not my colours. That's upside down. But it's amazing, even though you've got things that are not your colours, you always have them in your stash. So I'd found a piece of hand-dyed pink fabric, and again Suffolk Post. Really love just playing with a little bit of tatting. So cut the circle out, and that's a vintage linen button but doesn't have the holes in, so they're like solid ones that are blanket stitched round. Done loads of seeding stitch, fly stitch, some gorgeous bits of lace, bits of ric-rac. So that's been really good. So my next one is going to be for Lauretta, and she's chosen springtime garden colours, so soft and muted colours, pastels, lavender, pink, green, peach, beige and yellow. So I am auditioning my pieces. So I have my little piece of quilt, a little bug, my vintage little bit of quilt that's there, and I've just started pulling out of my stash loads of bits of fabric. So some of them are some little hand-dyed pieces, some bits of linen, bit of furnishing fabrics, just some really, really pretty colours. This is one of my favourite pieces. I absolutely love this. I think it's just absolutely beautiful, and I love it when you get bits like this, so you've got little hints of colour that you can just pick out with everything that's going on. What else have I got? Some bits of lace. I've got a little bit of tatting that's got it's been dyed a little bit. I haven't dyed it, this is how I got it. It's just looking at like all these different bits just to play around with. Been through my Suffolk puffs, so I've pulled some of those out that sort of match as well, and then pulled out some bits of lace. So I've started auditioning all my little bits and pieces, and then just pulled out some Perle threads. So I think these are number 12s, yeah, because they're a bit thinner. And then some of the Danish cotton threads that I really, really like. So I've got my little set of bits and pieces already. I just love this because you can just put it all together in a box and start pinning and start stitching. So I'm using the same principle as I've done with most other things, of just playing around and pinning and then stitching. I really like this because it got the lavender. I don't really have many lavender bits of fabric. I still love my frayed edges, but I think some of these florals are just beautiful because you just pull out loads of different bits and pieces. So I just need to make sure I've got it the right size. I need to just chop a bit off the end. So it's my 8-inch length, so that just gives me a guide for how long I am. It does seem a bit of a shame covering up some of the quilt, but I quite like doing this because I end up with like a frame around the edge. So let's start playing. Not had a very nice day here today in West Yorkshire. There's been a storm. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's caused quite a bit of havoc down south. But we've just had a lot of rain today. It's definitely been an indoor day, which I think what gave me the incentive to sort my studio out. I just thought if I get it done while it's raining, then I've got a little bit of an incentive then to start working up. Not that I need much of an incentive to be getting on with some work, but it's just quite nice sometimes just to have, I suppose, clear your decks down a little bit. Yeah, just clear the decks. Clears your mind as well. I've actually not been as messy as I would normally be. I thought it was going to take me a lot longer, but it was just quite nice sorting out all my fabrics. So I've got a bit mad buying fabric recently, so it was just quite nice getting them all in a shelf. I've just heard my iron click. I've just remembered I was going to iron something. I pulled out, so I don't really have much. Well, I do have beige things, but I'd got a really nice piece of sari silk, a sari silk, so I was going to iron it. I suppose I ought to do that now. I am terrible though for when I start doing things like this. Sorry, I've just left you. For leaving the iron on, and then I come back in later on and think, oh, there's a right funny smell. And then you find you left the iron on, but your room was nice and warm. Probably a bit of an expensive way to heat your house. Don't tell my husband. Probably a bit dangerous as well. Especially since it doesn't seem to have a cut-off on it. I know a lot of irons do. Sorry, I've just left you all on your own there. My iron's just over on the other table. But just because it clicked, I remembered. I'm getting really bad. There we go, switch it off. For starting things and then forgetting that I started them. I don't know if it's getting old. I'm not sure what it is. But I just really liked that sari silk. I just think it's so pretty. So this one's probably a bit more, what I'm used to, a bit more like muted colours. But again, what is it with everybody and their pinks? I'm really looking forward to getting some pieces over the next few months. So we're doing one a month, starting in October. But I'm the only person in the UK. Rachel's in Italy, Sarah's in Australia, Jeanette's in Australia, Lauretta, Melanie are in the USA, and Susanna's in Australia. So I know, speaking from experience with the post, it's not very reliable at the moment. because it depends on apparently the countries it goes through and what stage that country's at with lockdown and just all different sorts of things, whether they've got staff in and stuff like that. So I've got to get the others posted and then crack on with this one. And then when I receive them and when everybody receives theirs, they're going to video them. So that'll be exciting. So those things you just think, crikey, I hope somebody likes what I've done. That's got a crease in it. Get rid of that crease. So the colours I've gone for with mine, I just thought I'm just going to go white, cream and grey with no colour, which isn't really me. Normally, I will do some colour, 6 inch. But I just thought it'd be quite nice maybe to get some without colour. Really threw me when Susanna had asked, what are your favourite colours? It was like, oh, I don't know. I quite like that. Starting just with all straight edges. Right. Now I've got my Suffolk puffs. So I don't know whether or not to build those up maybe at the bottom. Sorry the lighting's a bit harsh. It's pitch black here outside. So I had got originally my big studio light on, but it cast too many shadows. So I might build that up around there. Oof, and then what? See, that's really pretty as well. I don't want the really bright yellows. So I might just got to snip out the middle. I've started talking to myself a lot more. I spent most of the day talking to myself. I think sometimes you get really good answers from yourself. A bit worrying though when you do start talking back to yourself. Or the kids come in and say, who are you talking to? And it's like, oh, just myself. Oh, I've got the edge of the fabric there. I don't think this is one of the nicest bits. Just playing around. And I'm totally obsessed with frayed edges at the moment. Even if you get like an open weave fabric, sometimes what you can do, I don't know if this will do it, but if you grab hold of some of the odd warp or weft, I don't think that'll do it, but if you've got a slightly looser weave fabric, sometimes, I don't know if this will do it, you can get some a little bit further down. Come on. There we go. That's it. There we go. And you can pull out some of the warps and wefts. So like pulled work. I quite like that. See, I've done that cracked a little bit. And you end up sort of creating different tones within your piece. Pull these. There we go. You start creating little holes, which could be cute. So you could either stitch into those or weave another piece of fabric through. I'm thinking that there we go. I've got some tweezers. That might just make my life just a little bit easier. There we go. Tweezers, perfect tool for stitching. Who'd have thought it? There we go. So you create some holes. So then when you lay those on the top, they create some really nice alternatives and little windows and little opportunities to stitch. Quite like that. That's pretty. And then I'll keep some of these bits sometimes, and these might even get stitched back on again. So I've got my oat that's been filling up my jar of all leftovers. Just keep popping your threads just in there. Really gorgeous collection of all different sorts of threads. Just sort of tell a story of what you've been doing. If you wanted to with these as well, if you got yourself just a piece of, could even be vanishing fabric or Bonder web or something like that, and lay them all on and iron them, or just machine stitch over the top and actually create a fabric out of the fibres, which could look really, really nice. Right, so we've got some bits and pieces on there. Oh, I've got that as well. I really like that. I like that flower. Cut that out. I'm never one really for cutting shapes out. I know I've seen sometimes people do, I'm not sure what it's called. I know we did it once at our Embroiderers Guild, where you cut the flowers out and you'd put Bonder web on the back, and then you iron it and sort of like create like a new piece of work, I suppose. I've been tempted to have a go because I've got some gorgeous fabrics. Ooh, see, that'll look really cute on there. Like that. I like my circles. So I might just start with that as my beginning. So let's grab some pins and pin it together. And then, like I've done with all my others, and because it's a slow stitch collaboration, I'll just start off with some really, just some long lines of straight stitch, just to get it all stitched down. You could tack it all down if you wanted to first, and then remove your tacking stitches, but I tend to just go with it and just start stitching it all in one go. So I've got a range of my threads. Usually once I've pinned it down, I might lay some lace on the top. Oops. Just so then I sort of know what I'm doing. Just give you a bit of an idea. And then I'm just going to spend the rest of the evening. Got a nice coffee set up in my studio. Stick something on Netflix to listen to while I'm sewing, and then just spend the rest of the evening stitching away. Perfect weekend. It's good. I get really engrossed in what's going on, and then I know, because I've been really busy this week, I've not done any housework or anything, so I know that I've got to do some tidying up at some point this weekend, because it is stressing me out a little bit that the house is all upside down. It's fitting everything in, working, doing this, and I know I've had a busy week, so I'm trying to give myself a little bit of an easier time rather than beating myself over the head with a stick. But it's like when I walk out, because I've been doing the studio today, I must have ended up with loads of threads on my socks. So when I go outside, there's threads everywhere. The cats have got very excited today because I've kept leaving the door open, and normally they're not allowed in here. So they've ended up coming in and climbing up on the top of the wardrobes, and Duncan's broken one of my pieces of work that I bought. And it's just like, oh. But you get a bit fed up sometimes, like in a room with the door shut. So it was quite nice to have it open, but that didn't last very long. Not with those two tinkers. Because they know that they're not meant to come in. It was like, oh, the door's open, we can get in, it's amazing. This is lovely. I think it must have been a collar or a frill around something. It's got the most gorgeous lines on it. I wasn't quite sure. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put that yet. Oh, a bit of pink. Do we need a bit of pink? Maybe a bit up at the bit to balance it out. Do a little slither up at the top. A cute little rose there. I think these are some cottons that have been dyed. I suppose it is quite good being challenged by other people's colour choices, because it does make you put things together that you wouldn't normally do. That's cute. Sorry, I know my arm keeps going across, and I know the shadows are on today, but I didn't have a chance to do any filming earlier on. Right, then we've got the tatting, and I do like that middle. Oh, because it matches the circles there. Okay. I know people have asked, like, oh God, how can you cut up the tatting? But I just think I'd rather use something and make something else out of it. I did teach myself to do a little bit of tatting. I can do circles, I might do some extra little bits for this. I can do like a circle and a loop, but oh, it ends up all twisted. It was really hard as well to find tutorials. There's not many left-handed people out there that do tatting. But I was just quite impressed that I got going and I can make a circle, so that just made me happy. So because I've got my circles there, it might be quite nice just to balance it up a little bit. And maybe, oh yeah, just up there, sort of matches the flower as well. See, I do think, I mean, I know I say this again and again and again in my videos, is I don't have a plan at all. And especially when you're given colours from somebody else, you just get the colours together and then just see what happens. And it's amazing how stuff just comes together. It just works really, really nicely. Okay, so I know I can still see a bit of my quilt in different places, and I'll probably still keep playing around with some other bits and pieces, but it's quite nice to, ooh, see, that's pretty. Just play around with what you've got. That's nice. I just don't know if it's a bit too strong, because Lauretta said soft. That might just be a bit too much. Ooh, the back, maybe. Ooh, don't know. Anyway, so that's where I'm up to. I've then got my threads. Once you start adding the threads, then that really does change everything that's going on. Oh, another. Oh, look. Oh, oh, that's so pretty. Oh, right, okay. I forgot I'd got that out. Right. I think Suffolk Puffs come off. Okay, Suffolk Puffs off. And because I don't want to cover too much of that up, but that's got such a pretty line. That's so pretty. Right, so then that can match up to that bit there. Oh, that's gorgeous. Love it. Okay. Suffolk Puffs back on again. 2. Can't even remember if I'm putting these back on in the right place, but it really doesn't matter. And that one there. I need them a little bit closer together. Just put that one there. Took that one. That's just bringing in a little bit of yellow, and then I have got a yellow thread that I'm going to bring in and use. I might try and see if I can find one that's a bit more mustardy, a bit more muted. That's a bit lemony. Oh, that's so pretty. Right, and then tuck that under that one, so that comes over the top. There we go. Oh, love it. Love happy accidents. Right, just need to trim that bit down. So I've got my edge. There we go. And then that tiny little scrap, just to repeat it, might just pop it. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, so it's a good idea to look up and see what you'd got. There we go. Oh, I'm happy with that. That looks lovely. Right, so next will be stitching. I'll keep popping some pictures on Instagram. So if you want to follow me, it's Handmade by Anne. And if you follow the hashtag, just get my bit of paper again. So it's Slow Stitch Collab, COLLAB and then 7. And mine is at Handmade by Anne. And you'll be able to see everything that's going on, see this bit progressing, and when I've done a little bit more, or probably when I've finished it, because I don't want to give too much away, I'll come back, show you what I've done just before I post it, and then hopefully next time I come back on, I'll be able to show one that I've received. Very, very exciting. So I will see everybody soon. Have a fabulous weekend. Love and hugs from me. Just need to finish this now. Bye bye.